many folks, not in this room, many folks think we're still there. What they don't realize is while we've plateaued, we've sort of flatlined, many other countries have passed us by. I'm firmly convinced that we have to educate our way to a better economy. It's the only way to get there. At the end of the day, I want to be measured not on third grade test scores, that's important. I want to be measured, are we dramatically increasing high school graduation rates and dramatically ultimately increasing the number of college graduates in this country. Here in Maryland, from 2008 to 2009, Pell Grants increased 41%, from $217 million to $306 million, serving more than 12,000 students. Again, it makes me very, very hopeful about where we can go. We're going to put hundreds of millions of dollars, it's hard to place an exact dollar figure, but I promise you it'll be hundreds of millions of dollars of money into the STEM fields that will help teachers and help reward and help keep our science labs open and help to modernize those labs that are critically important. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act will also bolster science and research, providing funds to modernize college facilities and labs and help bring more experts as adjunct professors and help support innovative projects and partnerships. Now, more than ever before, we need highly skilled and creative people in the STEM fields to develop the new technologies and the new industries that will drive our future economic growth. Our classrooms show us why. As you all know, a decade ago, the TIM study talked about and demonstrated how our best districts could compete with anyone in the world, anyone. But unfortunately, our worst districts were much more on par with third world countries, staggering inequities within our school systems. This inequity, I think, is a shame. I think it's a disgrace to the country. It's something that I think has to end, and it's incumbent on us to see that gap close. To address this significant challenge, we have to improve STEM education, first at our elementary and secondary schools. We can do this by investing to keep good teachers, incenting schools and districts to hire the best and brightest researchers, engineers, and other specialists for STEM fields. I think we need more math clubs, robotics leagues, academic competitions. We must more creatively engage students and help them develop their passion for math and science. I think we need to be much more proactive and creative in how we recruit more minority students into the STEM field so they can be our next generation of academic leaders. We've been talking, I think, for about 3 decades about the shortage of math and science teachers. I think we should try and solve that problem. I think we need to reward excellence. We need to pay more to teachers in high-need areas like math and science, and we need to reward the best and brightest teachers to take on the toughest of assignments in underserved communities, again, be that rural or inner-city urban. I've also heard that many talented people studying in STEM areas do not go into teaching because they have to stop doing research, something they love and have a passion for. We need to find ways that science and math teachers can stay involved in critically important research. We need to get the latest research and advancements in STEM fields into our classrooms. We need to build university partnerships with local school districts and give teachers the opportunity to attend and present at conferences, to utilize research facilities, and earn additional credentials while they continue to teach. Schools should encourage math and science teachers to form strong teams that work to boost student achievement across math and science departments, and often those conversations don't happen as much as we'd like. We not only need to do a better job with our teachers, we must also improve those partnerships that I mentioned between high schools and universities. As you guys well know, too many of our students arrive on their college doorstep thinking they are prepared for college-level math and science courses, and then they get a big surprise, and that rude awakening is often devastating. Our colleges and high schools need to be communicating better about what a college freshman is expected to know and must be prepared to do when they hit college as a freshman. Often, Pell Grants are wasted on remedial classes instead of for credit because high school graduates simply don't know what they don't know and aren't prepared to be successful at the college level. With stronger partnerships between high schools and colleges, we can make high schools much more rigorous and get standards up higher. Colleges can offer students summer enrichment courses while they are still in high school, so these students can start college well prepared. High schools must step up too by requiring that students enroll in algebra early on and by offering more advanced placement classes to challenge all students. In Chicago, we worked hard to double the number of students taking and passing AP classes, and we also provided double periods of algebra for students who are struggling. I think we have to do more of both creating more support opportunities, but also dramatically raising the bar, raising expectations, and seeing AP classes as the norm rather than the exception. Once students get to college, we need to make sure their institutions of higher education are placing value on effective instruction in STEM classes, and not just placing value on the research and publications that STEM professors produce. Universities should also prioritize effective teaching and tenure decisions and encourage faculty in math and science departments to work with the faculty in education departments to better prepare the next generation of STEM teachers. And I worry so often that our student achievement gap is really a teacher ability gap, that it's hard to teach algebra or science or AP chemistry if you don't know those subjects, and we need to deal openly and honestly with that. Thankfully, the university system here in Maryland is absolutely a bright light in the STEM field and will be a critical partner in the national dialogue about improving teaching and learning. That's why I'm so pleased to be here today. Your work is vitally important, not just to the students here in Maryland, but honestly around the country, around this nation. You engage in research and apply findings to everyday problems. You also train the next generation of leaders in the STEM fields. And I'd like to see more of your graduates thinking about going into teaching and want to find creative ways to incent them to enter the teaching profession. The time is absolutely right to renew the federal government's commitment to STEM and to the nation's universities. And I want to leave you with one last thought before I open it up for questions. In recent years, there's been a lot of debate about science and truth around issues like global warming and the teaching of evolution. In some ways, I actually believe those debates take us back about a century and unfairly raise doubts about the value of high-quality scientific research. Just as I am committed to transparency around educational data in order to drive reform in the classroom, the President is deeply committed to transparency around scientific data and research to drive progress in fields like medicine, technology, and energy. We have too many problems in this country to be distracted by these side issues. We have too many needs in this country to allow the contributions of science to be diminished or challenged. We have too many brilliant people working hard to solve these huge issues to be sidetracked by these debates. I was in New Orleans talking to science teachers a few weeks ago. I promised them that this administration will honor, will support, and will respect scientific research in the classroom, in the libraries, in the laboratories, in the broader public forum. Our job is to produce a new generation of scientists, inventors, and thinkers, to produce a new era of science education, and to produce a new group of pioneers in education, research, and industry to take America forward. In working with you, we have an extraordinary opportunity to do that. Thank you so much, and I'll take any questions you might have.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Mr. Secretary, we thank you for your important message and the leadership that you are bringing to our nation's most pressing problem. The Secretary has agreed to take a few questions, so Freeman, please.
Welcome to Maryland. You are going around the country providing extraordinary leadership and thinking about these issues of math and science education. How do you envision your department working with the National Science Foundation? What's the distinction between the two agencies and how will we see even greater collaboration when thinking about K through 16 work in this area?
So much of my job, I think, is to find ways to be better partners, and whether it's NSF, whether it's on a different issue, early childhood education with the Department of Health and Human Services, I think often these relationships have been less than functional, and we have to partner, we have to listen, we have to collaborate. I also know there's STEM funding in multiple agencies around the federal government, and it's not, I don't want to try and grab a lot of power, but I do want to work very, very collaboratively with folks that want to make a difference. I think particularly in this area, funding streams have been disjointed. Folks haven't talked. At the end of the day, that poorly serves students, poorly serves universities, doesn't help us get where we need to go. And so I'm going to really challenge myself to listen, to learn, to be a great partner, to help to build a cohesive vision that we can all get behind and support.